Right, here we are on part 2. Congratulations, you've managed to unpack all your boxes and you've got all the equipment set up, ready to plug in. So Jim will show you the order to plug it in and specifically exactly which port things go into. So pay attention.
Right, so this here is really just, this will obviously be screwed to your wall, hopefully, if you've had a half decent BT engineer. And it's really just there so that we can illustrate to you exactly how everything's going to plug in. Now the first thing you're going to need for this is your modem cable, your RJ11 cable, and the thing you'll notice is that the plug is about half the size of your standard computer socket. So one end of this needs to go into the back of your ADSL filter, and then that will plug into your telephone line. So where does the other end of this cable go? Well, let's just remove those power supplies and rotate this router around so we can have a look at the back of it. There really is only one place to plug this in, fortunately, which is into the VDSL ADSL socket on the back of the phone, because it's the only one that's the right size for it.
You can see the side of it's purple, and quite often these will be shipped with purple leads.
So we'll take our power supply while we've got it turned around, and we'll plug our power supply into the back of the phone, and we'll plug the other end of our nice long cable into the back here, and then obviously we all know where that goes. It needs to whip off to a power supply, so I'll plug that into the power just down there. So that now is our router. You can hear the fans just come online. I will show you quickly that we now have some lights appearing on the front, but we will just continue on the back for a second, because the first thing we need to do now is run a cable from the back of our Cisco router into our TP-Link switch. So we're going to rotate this around as well and just talk about the difference in the ports. So you can see over the top here on ports 1 to 4, we have an indication in brackets at the top showing this is PoE. Stands for Power over Ethernet, and essentially what that means is this is where we're going to plug our 3 phones into. These here you can plug your PCs into. I'm going to actually plug the router into one of these as well. So you can use this to connect up the rest of your office with your assured broadband as well. So we're going to run a lead from the from port 8. It doesn't matter which one, just matters that it's something between 5 and 8. We're going to run it from there into any of the ports on the back of the yellow section on the back of the router. Okay, so from there I'm going to rotate this around so we can have a look at the pretty flashy lights on the front of the router and just tidy some stuff up to get it out the way. So we essentially now are ready to start plugging phones in. We have our router plugged into the line, and we have this blue cable running from the back of the router into our PoE switch. What we're waiting for on the front here, which will generally take about 5 minutes to come up, is 3 lights to appear. We're waiting for our PPP light to start flashing, our CD light to start flashing, and the data light will go on constantly. After about a minute after that, the VPN light will also light up and stay on constantly, and that tells us that the router is online and connected to the internet.
Fantastic. Jim, can you show us how to plug the phone in correctly? Because there's lots of ports on the back of these phones, aren't there, for where you put the handsets and
Fine,
things.
so let's have a look at the back of the phone. So the phone has 4 connections on the back that we're interested in. We have the connection with a symbol with a little phone above it, which is obviously where our handset plugs in. And you can see we've plugged that into the curly cord and put the handset on top. And then here we have hopefully you can see that on the connection that you've got there. The one with a little tree above it is actually a network symbol. So this is the one that we need to plug into our TP-Link router. If cabling's short around the office, then you can plug your PC into the cable that has the PC picture plugged in above it. So we're going to run this yellow cable off from the networks connection on the back of the phone, and we're going to plug that into one of the cables on one of the sockets on the switch, which is marked up PoE. So I'm going to plug that into PoE 1 and turn our phone over. So phone hasn't lit up yet because of course I've not plugged our little switch into the power. So I'm going to plug a power cable into that and then run this cable down to our power supply once I've untangled the little nest of cables.
You can have 1, 2 or all 3 phones connected at this stage, and they all work completely independently of each other.
Now we're going to have some lights on the front of the TP-Link which are going to light up. First and foremost is socket number 8, which is the blue cable that I have run off into our router, and then socket number 1 which is the yellow cable which is running off to our phone. Socket number 1 has got 2 lights over it. It's got the bottom light which shows that it's connected, and the top light shows that it's delivering power across it. And as you can see, then the phone has lit up and it's starting its boot process, which once the router's online will take about a minute to a minute and a half for the phones to come online.
Fantastic. I think that's good for this video here. What we'll do one more video which will show how to actually lay the phones out on your desks and if you've got cabling within your building.